welcome to my show. So today we have a special guest. So secret producer Sarah is tagging in on this one to surprise Her Excellency Saxa, who is joining me on this wonderful, I think that today is Sunday, but it's hard for me to remember because the scheduling of recording is
totally Friday, my darling.
I know it's Friday in recording time, but I think in air time.
In real life.
In real life, it's Friday.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
But I think in video timing, it's Sunday. But I would have to go and look, and that that requires like effort, but I don't want to. So hi everybody.
This is why you're in charge.
Welcome to my show. So, Saxa, I would like you to introduce yourself a little bit. Just real quick, where are you from? What is your thing that you like to do? Yeah, brief SEA summary of Saxa.
Brief SCA summary of Saxa. Okay, I'm Saxa Amelia Africana, and I live up in Avacal, and I live in northern Avacal, so I'm far away from everyone. My closest group is the Barony of Merganwood, but they are 2 hours from me. Been in the SCA for 25 plus years. What else? I was the 9th Queen of Avacal, so I just stepped down in November. And things I like doing, I like partying, but that's not really, I don't think that's like the correct answer. Obviously weaving, everyone sees my weaving. Arts and science, I love watching fighting. I love everything about the SCA. I like all of it, and I kind of bounce from activity to activity. And mostly SCA events for me are just getting out there, meeting new people, hanging out with my friends, and having fun. That's really what the SCA is for me.
I absolutely agree. I'm 100% behind that. However, you mentioned your weaving, and I wanted to make sure that I talked about it a little bit. You wouldn't happen to like have a little piece of your trim or a piece of your weaving like quickly accessible, would you?
Oh, no, I don't. But Sarah does.
See, and this is why Sarah is popping in.
I'm not wearing my own weaving tonight. Tonight I'm wearing Area Dubai. She's from Paris, and she's the person who really got me started because I bought this belt, loved it, and I'm like, I need to learn how to make beautiful things like this. So I learned how to make beautiful things like that.
Okay.
That's how I got started weaving.
Oh my God,
lovely
that's amazing.
piece of red trim.
Look at it.
But my favorite thing is Saxa sent me a party belt. And if you know me, I love belt. It's a party belt. My step up tunic was hot pink. It's not really funny. This is neon pink and purple, like my party belt.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I got up one morning and I wove all these belts. My brain is like, make something pretty. So I like busted out the pink and purple acrylic, and I showed some pictures of it, and I had already put one aside for Sarah. I'd already put one away, and I was like, this is going to Her Highness because I know she's going to love it. And then she was commenting, she's like, I need to get this one. I need to have it. I was like, sorry, you can't. She's like, oh no. But I had already sent her one, so I wrecked the surprise, but it's okay. She loved it anyway.
Gosh, I love that. I love that you found somebody who did a thing. The thing happened to be weaving, who you purchased their weaving and then fell down this rabbit hole. I have a friend of mine who's part of my my sister-in-law's household who learned how to do kumahimu and like has like this magical thing with string that I just like don't understand. And he met one of our Laurels down here who is also just magic with strings and stuff, and even like teaches classes called Strings and Things, and is all about the weaving and the doing the weird magic with the thing. I can't. It's so complicated. But that's oh my gosh, Lord Corwin, out of Kaid, and it's so cool to hear stories like that. I love it. Well, now that I've talked about your weaving, I have a very serious, important question. Very serious. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
How much do you
I'm ready.
love,
I'm bracing myself.
how much do you love Princess Sarah?
5 million.
Obviously, that's a good number. 5 million
Plus.
is such a good number.
5 million plus. She's amazing. So
She is
I'm
amazing.
down at Great Western War. I'm down at Great Western War, and all of a sudden, this amazing person comes out of nowhere and introduces herself to me, because I am such an introvert. I really am. I find it very hard to meet people. Once I meet them, I'm good with them, but introducing myself to them, especially like really gregarious, outgoing people. So I love it when extroverts come and just like tackle me and go, "You're my friend now." Love that. And quite a few have, which is good. And she did. And oh, I love her. She's amazing. So we talked all that week and we got to know each other, and now we get to know each other over Facebook and we talk all the time. And now I can't see her like ever because of this stupid COVID. And that's really depressing, but hopefully soon I'll get to see her again. 5 million plus. 5 million plus, Your Highness.
I love her. So it's really funny. So Sarah is Her Highness is one of my 2 secret producers, and we were talking about about this episode all week, sort of. And I messaged her, or I don't know, an hour ago, and I was just like, I need more questions. Send me more questions. And literally we went back and forth for like 15 minutes, and done, handled. But Sarah did say that there was something I could not ask you, and since I convinced her to come and participate,
Not ask me.
I had to ask you. Tell me. I hear there's some bird sex happening in your life at the moment.
Oh yes.
Tell me about this.
We have 2 budgies they have no shame. None. So we have chickens, right? We have chickens outside and they lay eggs. And so every day we go out and we collect the eggs, and they're free range hens. So you kind of have to hunt around for them, and it's like Easter egg hunt every day. Anyways, so my husband was just joking, and he walks up to the cage and he's like, "Oh, how many eggs do we have in here today?" And then he's like, "Oh my God." And there were eggs, like they had fallen, obviously, like they're in this huge flight cage, and these eggs had fallen and broken on the floor, and at the time there were 3 of them, and we felt really bad. And then we noticed that yes, the birds aren't just randomly doing things. They're actually having sex in the cage in front of everyone, like right during TV time, like in front of the whole family. They get a sheet put over them every night and have a bit of privacy. You would think they would save it. No, these little wanton budgies out there just going at it in broad daylight. So that was the one morning. The next morning we look and there's another egg on the cage floor, and everyone's upset because I'm kind of upset. I was like, well, that shouldn't happen. And so we went and we got a nesting box for them. And now she has 8 little eggs in her nesting box, and she spends all her time in there, and they're still having sex every day, even though she has like 8 eggs to look after. I'm like, shouldn't you be concentrating on other things? Apparently not. She's just, she goes in there and she rolls her little eggs around and then comes out for sex. And I don't know what to do with her. But anyways, yes. So we have budgie sex, and we have 8 eggs in the nesting box, and it's exciting times around our house.
Oh my gosh, I bet that is so loud. No, not
really?
Bad. That's so good. I grew up with parakeets.
Yeah.
And they're so obnoxious. So obnoxious. So
well, they have their moments, because we also have a litter of kittens in the house because we apparently run a zoo here. So we have a litter of kittens, and the kittens are getting that they run around the floor. I actually thought we had rats the other day, because out of the corner of my eye, I see this kitten go across the floor. I'm like, ah! I'm like, oh, it's a kitten, not a rat. Thank goodness. Anyways, they get really mad when the kittens come over to their cage. The budgies will scream at them, like really give them a hard time. But other than that, they're so like, they, especially in the middle of winter, because we have like really long winter nights and it gets really dark, and the budgies are just so like cheerful and tropical sounding, and so we enjoy them. We don't, they do screech sometimes, but not often. Usually when I'm trying to talk on the phone, that's when they go off.
Of course, that's the only time.
Yeah, naturally.
Obviously. That's the only time to screech. Okay. Well, now that we've gotten the very serious questions out of the way, let's get to something else. So, Avacal is a relatively new kingdom. As you had mentioned earlier,
it is.
You were the 9th queen. What was it like? What was it like being queen for a kingdom what was it like being the 9th queen?
It was a lot of, I loved being queen. It was a lot of fun. I, of course, like I've been in the SCA for so long, right? And you always dream about it, and you always think about it, and you know, what would I do? And I do a lot of retinue in the SCA. So I've served on retinue a lot. So I knew it was going to be hard work. I knew that it was going to be a lot of work, a lot of behind the scenes stuff that had to be done, lots of paperwork, lots of, you know, things like that. I was ready for that. I was braced for it. But I also really wanted to take this opportunity to shine the spotlight on different things. Bardic was one of the big things we did. We didn't have a Bardic champion when I stepped up, but we did have one when I stepped down. So being able to, you know, take a hand in the creation of some of the culture in our kingdom, and create new things and give out awards. Giving out awards and recognizing people is amazing. Traveling, because we are the baby kingdom. So everyone's like, oh, you're from Avacal, the baby kingdom. And so I traveled a lot within my kingdom and outside my kingdom, and it was amazing. It was like a once in a lifetime experience, and I am so honored that I got a chance to do it and to represent Avacal and to, you know, just make the most of it. I hope I did a good job.
So I got to meet you at Great Western War when you came and visited us out here in Kaid, and it was so amazing. I loved it. Firstly, I love meeting all the people in the world. It's my favorite thing ever to just know everybody. So getting to meet you was super fun. You were the very first person, at least to my knowledge, that I met from Avacal, which is super cool. And I was very excited to get to work with you. I have not talked to people who have been in the SCA for 25 years and then became queen or king, except for one king in Kaid, but I hadn't talked a lot to him about it because I've also been in the SCA for 25 years, and it is something that you dream about, because you literally are just like, I've been watching this thing happen for so long. I would love to do it. I would love to participate. I would love to participate in that, to give back to my kingdom like that. And it's something that's super interesting to me because I also have served on a lot of courts and done a lot of retinue work as well. And excuse me. And a lot of people, I feel like it's sort of weird to be received as someone who wants to be a king or a queen, as the consort, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get, it does make sense. Yeah, because we're not supposed to say it, right? But why would you not, like, that? It doesn't make any sense. I think everybody a little bit dreams of it, because when you grow up with a fairy tale and knights in shining armor and princesses and queens and royalty and castles, and you grow up with that. And to me, it was natural for me to acknowledge it, right? Like that, of course you want it. And now it's different between wanting it and wanting to do a very, very good job of it, because it is a hard job. But of course I wanted it, and I dreamed about it, and I was excited to be queen. I was very surprised to be queen. It was a bit of a shock. There's a long story there, but yeah, I was so honored, and I had a blast representing my kingdom and doing all the stuff I did. So yeah, I think it's good to have goals, right? And to set goals and to live goals, and I think it's fantastic.
And for me also, it's something that I really like. I like to push my partner to pursue his goals, and he is currently on the path to become a knight, and so pushing him to be in crowns and to participate in like every tournament he can, and fight at wherever he can. I am pushing him to do the thing, and like, I mean, maybe it's not obvious, but in my brain, when you are fighting to become a knight, like the end goal is to be a king. And it may not be, it may not be, everybody thinks that way, but like in hindsight, like as growing up with that fairy tale mindset, you become a knight and then you become a king. That's the natural progression. So I just want to support him to do his thing. And if I happen to become queen, great. If not, also great. Because you know what? Whatever makes him feel happy and feel good, that's what I care about. And I think,
and I think it's important to. Oh,
no, go ahead.
Yep. No, go ahead, Sarah.
I think
go ahead, Your Highness.
When you're entering in those lists, that is the intention, right? When you enter into a principality, coronet, or a crown, that's the intention. That is the end all be all, is to get to that princess or queen or prince and king. For my case, it was a little different. I was the event steward of the event that Patrick, my prince, won. My brain was not on that level. My brain was in work mode. So I didn't bring another change of clothes. I didn't bring makeup. I didn't have it. I was really unprepared, which is very unlike me, because the site's 30 minutes from my house. That's my site. So here I am, just running the event, and he's getting deeper and deeper. And I went, oh my God, I really shifted gears. I turned over the event if something happened. I touched out of the event so then I could really focus on him and what he needed. And then he won. And I was just like, holy cats. Because it's never.
Oh, well, you did better than me because I wasn't there.
Oh, are you one of those that wasn't there? There's a few of those.
Oh, to my ever living shame, I wasn't.
Tell me.
I wasn't there.
Oh my God, I need to hear this story.
Yeah. So obviously Angar was the king that made me queen, and our crown tournament fell during my kids' school holidays. And obviously I have 3 teenagers, so we can't just take them out of school for holidays. When they were younger, it didn't matter when their school holidays were. We would just take them out of school for holidays because we go to educational places. We do some educational things. Traveling for me is an education, so we would just take the kids out of school. But now that they're all in high school, we can't do that anymore. So the crown tournament fell on my kids' school holidays, and we have a trip booked to Cuba with them. We're going to Cuba with the family right during the crown tournament. And I'm like, I can't go. And I told him that, I'm like, I can't go. And he goes, well, I'll see if I can get permission to fight for you without you there. And he did. He got permission. And so then it turned out, so the tournament was on Saturday, and we flew out first thing Sunday morning. So technically I could have been there. I could have been there. And I told them that. I said, you know what, this is really important. This is important. And if I need to be there, I'll be there. And he's like, no, he was struggling with injuries. He's like, haven't been to practice, it's okay. It's all right. He goes, I'm going to go do my best, but I don't think you have anything to worry about. And that's how that turned out. So
that's always the
and I'm
way
watching
it goes.
him. And so I'm watching him in the lists, And he's not looking at his phone, and I'm messaging him like throughout, because I wanted him to know I was paying attention, that I wasn't just, that he wasn't just on his own and I wasn't paying attention. I'm paying attention to the list. I'm paying attention. I had someone feeding me all the information through every fight, to see how things were going and everything like that. And so I'm sending him messages going, I'm so proud of you. You're doing fantastic. Like, I'm watching your fights. Things seem to be going really well. And all of a sudden, like, he's undefeated. And then he lost. And he took one loss. And I'm like, okay, that's no problem. And I'm still messaging him. And then he took another loss. And I thought that was it. Like, that was the double or lemon who was out. And then they ended up refighting it. Something happened. Because the person who was feeding me the information said, oh no, he lost. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I'm like, okay. And well, that's it then. And I message him. And then she goes, oh, wait, they're refighting. Oh, okay. So he refights and wins. And that was the win. I believe that was the win into the final. And so then he goes into the final, and they're live streaming the final. So I'm live streaming the final, and it was best out of 3. And I wasn't able to get my live stream set up until the second. So he lost the first, and I never got to see that. So all I saw was the win-win. And I'm sitting there, I'm in this room. I was sitting here right here watching it. And all of a sudden the realization hits me, and I was like, and I started hyperventilating, and then he's FaceTiming me, and I'm like trying to breathe and FaceTime. And it's like all my friends are there, and everyone's excited, and I'm hyperventilating. Yeah, it was exciting. And yeah, I will never forgive myself for not being there. I regret it. That's one of my biggest regrets, is not being there that day. I wish I could have been there to support him and to just experience that. So he became Crown Prince that day, and I didn't become anything that day. I was a court baroness, so I remained a court baroness. And I actually had to go to an event before I stepped up as Crown Princess. So I'm like Crown Princess to be, and but not Crown Princess yet. So we set some precedents that it was interesting times. It was complicated, and but we figured it out. The king and queen at the time, Fergus and Cora, were they are absolutely amazing people, and made it really special for me. And yeah, so we oh man, I can't believe this is going on air.
You can be there next time.
That's the story.
Next time. You'll be there.
Well, you know what? If I am so blessed with a next time, I will never miss another one. I won't. I don't recommend it to anyone. That you know what? I don't recommend it. Be there. If it's important enough to have someone fight for you, it's important enough for you to be there. And if you can't be there, don't have anyone fight for you. That's how I feel about it now. I don't think I would ever let it happen again.
Well, in the moment you were prioritizing your kids, and I think that is absolutely a valid thing to do. I know that my parents did when we were in the FCA. I know that the most recent king and queen that I have served under always prioritized their kids, and there were 4 of them. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing that, because being a good mom is very important. And and
it's a juggling act for sure.
Of course. And I think that at least you were there in spirit, because you got to live stream and participate that way. So at least there was that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that makes it worth it. I mean, all of it's great. And I think that people should don't be so hard on yourself, is basically what I'm trying to say. Is you did it amazing as queen, and I think that queens and princesses are really hard on themselves, from what I've seen. I have served on many courts. I have been chief lady for a few queens, and they never think that they've done good enough, and it makes me so sad. And I just want to always remind people and roses that they are incredible and that their work that they do is exhausting and hard, and I appreciate all of it. So don't forget. I'm just one person, but I know I'm not alone. So I'm going to ask you, tell me, Sarah told me a rumor that you have been to an event in a castle?
Yes.
Oh my God.
While I was queen.
Oh my God.
Oh, so I've been to a few I've been to a few events in a castle, but only one SCA event in a castle while Angar and I were king and queen, because we had talked about this previously. I used to live in England.
Drink.
Hang on. I think I'm almost at the bottom of the glass here. So we had talked about this previously because he's been fighting me for me for a while. And I had always talked about, I would love to go to an event in Drakenwald. I would love to do that. And he won. And he's like, are you doing it? Like, are you going to do it? And at the time I didn't really know. But then I found out that Drakenwald Crown this last October was in England. And so I went to it. And yeah, it was in a castle that Queen Catherine, Queen Henry's first wife, she had actually been there. And this is where the castle where it was held. And I post pictures. If you go on my Facebook site, you can see pictures of me in the Kew Garden and everything. And yeah, this is the whole event is in a castle. And so you're in garb. There was this amazing staircase that I was constantly, Master William Bennett would be standing at the bottom of the staircase because he came with me. And I would just be running up and down the staircase just because, your skirts are swishing out behind you and you're running up and down the staircase in a medieval castle. And it was a dream come true. Like Billy and I got there first and, we got shown to our rooms and we're getting settled in, and Angar and Melanie got there, and I come running down the staircase and I'm like, we get to stay here for the whole weekend. I was so excited. I was like a giddy 3-year-old. The people over there are amazing. It was a dream. Like you talk about the dream in the SCA, and you got to live it for the weekend. Like you're inside the walls of the castle. Everything is medieval. Like they're having a vigil. There's a vigil ceremony going on in like the 800-year-old chapel, and you're like, it's just surreal. It's surreal, and it was amazing. So everybody in Drakenwald, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You gave me memories of a lifetime. We had so much fun. It was amazing, and I want to go back. We're making plans to go back.
Yay!
I want to go.
We were. Oh yeah, no, you have to. Like we had actually, there was a group of us that were going back in April for their crown tournament that's in Ireland. We were all going back, but with the whole COVID thing, we've kind of pushed it back a little bit. We're just not sure we're going to be ready to go by April. So I think the idea is we've pushed it back a little bit, possibly going to hit Raglan Fair, which is at Raglan Castle. It's a week-long event in Raglan. Hoping to maybe, like, just everything going good, we're hoping to hit that event with a few girlfriends, and then crown later on in the fall, provided everything with COVID goes acceptably, maybe.
I know.
It's hard to make plans right now.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So I have a question for Sarah really quick, or actually for everybody. So you mentioned getting to live the dream in Drakenwald, which is amazing, and I love that. But what is everybody's dream event? Like, there are all these incredible events across the known world. If you could, and I mean, like, obviously barring we aren't in quarantine and COVID, it doesn't exist anymore, or at least it's controlled. What's your favorite, like, what event is your dream event? I want to go to Gulf Wars. That's my dream event. prior to that, it was West Ontier, but I got to do that last year, which was so fun, and where I got to meet Sarah. It's really funny. I think actually today might be our year anniversary of meeting.
It's our anniversary.
I think it's literally our year anniversary because today is when we arrived on site at at West Ontier last year, I think, or we would have arrived last night, but today was the first like, oh, my brain actually works day.
Right.
So Gulf Wars is mine. Sarah, what's your dream event?
I have golf in Burka back east. I would really like to go.
Which one's that?
Is killer.
Which one's Burka? I don't remember.
Burka, they do in a big hotel. I think it's like the past couple of years it's been in like the Boston area. And I don't know particularly what the indoor side of it. All I hear is the shopping is killer. And my little ears go, okay, that's what I want to do.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Amazing. You will talk to Tina here shortly, Maggie. Margaret Grimm, she has been to Burka, so you can ask her all about Burka. Our dear friend was knighted there, so.
That's super cool. All right, Saxa, now what about you? If you could go to any event that you've never been to or go to again, if they were just like that amazing, which one would you go to?
Oh, I have so many on my wish list. So obviously my favorite event here in Avacal is Quad War. We have the Quad War site. If you ever get a chance to come, we have our own castle. It's a wooden castle, but we have a whole medieval village with, permanent structures there, and it's on private land. And if you ever get a chance to come to Quad War, come to Quad War. Our anniversary was supposed to be this year, but obviously we're pretending this year never happened. So our anniversary will be next year. That's my favorite event here in Avacal. It's a lot of people's favorite event in Avacal. And, outside of that, there's, I really would like to get to Double Wars over in Drakenwald. I've heard really amazing things about that. That would probably be my first. That would be the first thing I would like to do. And I would like to see, obviously, West Ontier War I've never been to. Actually, before I was queen, I hadn't been. I had only been to just smaller events. Like my biggest thing that I had been to was Ontier Coronation or Ontier Crown. That was really my biggest event that I had ever been to before I was queen. And then all of a sudden I'm going to all these big things as queen. So West Ontier War, I've been to Gulf Wars. Got to go back to it. Gulf War. Oh, sorry, not Gulf War. Great Western War. I've never been to Gulf War. I would like to go. I would like to check it out. But Great Western War was amazing. Absolutely fantastic. Loved it. All the great people I met there. And Pennsic. Never been to Pennsic. I heard it's really hot there. I don't do well with the heat.
I hear it's humid.
But I would like to check it out.
It's humid. And I'm just not about that. I don't like.
No, it's hot. It's like 80, 90 degrees and 100% humidity.
That's disgusting. I don't want to do that.
Worst thing ever.
Have you been?
Yeah, so it's like having an event underwater.
I've never been. But I'm from New York City, so like.
Oh, duh. So it's
basically
the same.
Weather.
Yeah.
You stick to.
Yeah.
Gross. Oh,
I definitely want to go back to Great Western War. That was fantastic. Loved it. But I have good friends down south. Duchess Joni. Hi, Duchess. Hello. So obviously want to get to Gulf Wars and see all my friends down there.
I love that. That was both of those things that you said, Double Wars and the Quad War, I have never heard of before. I'm slowly learning that I really only know a lot about my specific area. I'm really bad at like everything else.
This is all really good anthropology.
It is. It's so cool.
For Rosie here.
It is. I am learning so many things because I have literally been doing this my whole life. And before recently, in like the last 3 to 5 years, I really didn't know much about anything. I knew that there was Great Western War, Estrella, and Penzance. And then I started to learn about like everything else. Holy crap, Battlemore. Oh my God, I want to do that. I want to go to Battlemore so bad, but it's really hard because I have to pick between going to Battlemore or going to West Ontier. And like, I want to do them both, but they both happen over 4th of July weekend. And so I'm just like, fuck, do I want to go visit all my friends in the West, or do I want to go visit my friends in Colorado? Both of the sites are equally beautiful. So it's not like Great Western War is really fun, but I've lived in California and I know what Bakersfield is. So that's like, you know, Bakersfield. So it's really fun for me to go to places that have like green stuff and like nature and like some mild seasons. It's why I don't like Estrella, because their seasons are too excited. Estrella weather is too crazy. But like, Battlemore, that's another one I really want to go to. I forgot.
Max and I were
Well, there's so many great options.
Yeah, there's so many. What's the other one? Lily's. I think Lily's is one that I was recommended to go to.
I've heard good things about Lily's War.
I don't even know where that is. I don't even know what kingdom hosts the Lily's War. I have no idea. My secret producer is going to figure it out for me, because that's what
we're going to Google that shit.
Abso-fucking-lutely. That's so cool. Let me think. I'm trying to think of what is the coolest site I've been to an event at. I think aside from West Ontier War, which has just absolutely the most gorgeous place ever, and Real Air, which is so funny because as a Southern California girl, I don't really know what air is. So I've been breathing smog since I was born, so I don't know what real air is. So that's the cool part about
You need to come up to Avacal. We got some good air up here.
Oh my God, I absolutely need to come visit Avacal. I need some of that crisp air.
So it looks like Lily's is Callantyre.
Oh, where's Callantyre?
Down south. This is like Missouri. That's where this one is. At least this last one I was Googling is in Missouri.
Oh.
All right. Okay. Well, Callantyre, heads up. We're coming to crash your party next year. Obviously, so get ready. Yeah.
Whenever we can finally do it again. But no, I'm so excited.
Not really down south, though, is it? I always think like anything over there is like the south. If it's not like the East Coast border, I'm like, it's down south.
It's the south. Missouri is definitely not in the south.
Over there.
Missouri's just like over there. Oh, that's
it's
Midwest,
definitely
right?
South of me.
It is south of, yes, there we go. It is down south of Saxa. That is the best. I'm the
Everything
southest.
Is down south of Saxa.
I know. That's why you can always say down south.
Yep. You're down south.
Down south of Saxa, obviously, because that's the measurement.
Yes.
Okay. What did I get? Oh, okay. My last question, which I don't know if I actually asked Sarah this when I had her on, so she's gonna have to answer this one too. How did you discover the SEA? You said you've been in it for 25 years. Are you a second generation human like SEA human like I am, or do you just look like a cherub? So how did you find the SEA?
My first year university, I went to university at the University of Saskatchewan, and I was in a history class, and one of the women, she's a friend of mine now, her name was Melanie, got up, and she was in the SCA. I wasn't. I had no idea anything like this existed, but I have always, my whole life just been fascinated with castles and England and princesses and medieval things, right? Fascinated with it. And she, at the start of history class, she just got up and said, because it was medieval history that we were taking together. And she said, just FYI, if anyone is interested in medieval history, I belong to a group called the Society for Creative Anachronism. And we're having a demo or a meeting. I can't remember exactly what was going on, but she said, just FYI, if you want to come check it out, come check it out. And I'm sitting there going, this exists? They have a thing like this where, that you can do this. And so I talked to her all through that class, I was like poking, I was like, just tell me more about this. Just about flunked history class. But I'm like, tell me more about this. I have to be a part of it. And that's how it started. That's how I found it. Thank goodness I did. And so I went to a meeting that week, and then they had their first event. It was their anniversary event. It was in October. Went to that first anniversary event just in terrible garb. I made it myself. It was really quite atrocious. But I didn't care because I got to go and be medieval, and I met so many people that I'm still friends with now. And that's how it happened. And I've been in it ever since. Since then, obviously, the next year I moved to England, and I belong to 3 living history groups over there. Well, actually, one theater group, and then they were split. Spirit of England and Company of the White Boar. One was a group and one was a living history group. So 15th century and Robin Hood. And then Paladins of Chivalry. I traveled with them quite a bit as well. So did a lot of reenactment. And then when I came back into the SCA in Saskatchewan, and have been here ever since.
That's so cool. Sarah, did I ask you how you found the SCA? I don't remember.
Kind of, but P.S. Callantyre is the Midwest. I was way off.
Yeah. Just south. Still south. Callantyre, you're in the south.
I was living in New York City. And I'm a retail manager by trade, and I was up on a ladder in my stock room, 12 or 14 feet up, when I was taking a step from the top part of the ladder to the 14 feet up, and my ladder collapsed underneath me, and I pretty much damaged my lower right limb. So you can see all kinds of fun scars on my ankle and knee and such. It's fun. And so I couldn't walk around New York City anymore. When you can't walk and move, New York City is not the city for you. So my parents were like, why don't you just come back? We'll take care of you. Come to California. So I came to California, and I've grown up here, and I was sitting around. I wasn't allowed to work. I was just sitting around doing nothing for a year. And I think 2 months into it, my dear friend, she's Court Baroness Moira of Kent, was like, we're doing this thing this weekend. Do you want to go? Because they've been in for 25 years, took a break a little bit when they had a kid and came back a year and a half before. And I was like, yeah, I got nothing else to do. So I went to 12th night. My first event was a 12th night, and everybody was shocked I survived, because 12th night, usually not the most lively of events, but I sat and watched, let's see, who stepped up? Oh, Roger and Zenobia. And watched them step up, and Helga and Anton, I believe, Helga and Anton were Prince and Princess of the Mists. Sylvie and Fergus were Prince and Princess of Sanagua. I do not remember who was Wertha, because I don't know if they were there. But yeah, and I sat there and was like, these people are kind of fun. And then they brought me to an event a couple weeks later, a camping one. I was like, oh, these people are kind of cool. And I just kept coming, and now you can't keep me away.
And now you're going to be princess for the rest of your life.
Princess. Who knew?
Oh my gosh. So actually, I'm gonna ask Sarah a question, even though this is Saxa's episode, because I think that both of us are curious. Do you think that being princess, does it feel like, for both of you, I guess, does it feel like you would have imagined it as a little girl? Or a little human? Does it feel the same? Is being princess and queen what you expected it to be? I guess is the way.
Those are different questions. Those are very different questions.
Those are very two different questions. I agree with Sarah. Those are two very different questions.
Okay, so then first question is, does being queen and princess feel like you would have imagined it to feel as a small child? And is reigning what you expected it to be?
This is your show, Saxa, not mine.
No, being queen was very different than what I imagined it to be. When you're a little girl, being queen, you're, the world is at your feet, and you're the boss of everything, and that's when you're a little girl, that's your dream. And as you grow up, you realize that being queen is an administration job. And so even like very enjoyable. Don't ever get me wrong. I was honored to be queen and I had a blast, so much fun. But I see being queen as a service job, not as a being queen job. It's a service job. You're there to serve your kingdom. You're there to serve your people. You're there to shine the spotlight on your people and make sure they get the recognition that they deserve. And you're there to work. And so having said that, I knew going in that being queen was going to be hard work and it was going to be challenging. And it was harder than I thought it was going to be, but it was still a lot of fun.
I think that is a good point to make, is that it is a lot more than just being there. It's a lot of emotional work, but it's, at least from what I've seen of my friends who have been on thrones, they seem to enjoy giving back, because there's no bigger service to your kingdom than to serve in that role. And I think that I love that there are people other than me who see it like that, because it makes me really happy, because those are the people who get remembered, who make an impact. And I love that. That makes me really happy. What about you, Sarah?
I 100% agree with Saxa. That's exactly what I would have said.
Yeah? I love that.
Exactly.
You can't copy my answer. You can't copy my answer.
All of the above.
She's just being cute because this is your episode.
No, but it's true. When you're a little girl, you don't think of anything as being work. It's not. And
fair.
It's
everybody works for you when you're a little girl, right? They all work for you.
Exactly. And it's not at all. It's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun. Being the representative of the people is a lot. There's also a lot of pressure. We keep talking about a lot of weight on the shoulders of a royal, especially like right now.
Yeah.
Like there are so many things I would love to talk about and comment.
Yeah.
We can't, because it's you're not only expressing yourself, but the views of all of your people and then the society as a whole. And it's like,
yeah.
And I think, so it's really interesting. I, yesterday recorded with a friend of mine who's been in the SCA for, I think he said 3 years. And he had mentioned to me, it was the very first time that somebody had said to me that this project that I'm doing is doing something. And he told me that he likes to see how I bridge gaps between what he considers what he said as like the more traditional SEA types and the less traditional SEA types. And now I'm not 100% sure what he's thinking of what he was thinking of when he said that, but a lot of like what Sarah is saying, how she is a sitting princess in the kingdom of the West, for the Principality of the Mists, and it does take it. She talks about, or you talked about, how it's not just about you; it's about everybody. It's about it's about your populace, and a lot of COVID and quarantine and this whole mess that's happening right now has created a big disconnect from the more traditional SEA aspects and the young. I guess basically it's like, what does the populace do now that we're in quarantine? And he said that this show is making a difference because it's showing that we can still interact. And it was a very interesting concept to me, because now what I think that we can do is get the opinions out there, so that we can all talk and we can all interact and humanize each other. So it doesn't just have to be, so Princess Sarah can talk, but also my darling friend Sarah can talk, and it can be the same. And I like that. I like that we are working to a place where it is open and honest and everybody can communicate cleanly with each other. if that is a way I can describe it. Well, that's the end of my questions. That was it. We busted through those so fast, but somehow we've been on this call for an hour and a half. So I don't.
Has it been an hour and a half already?
Yeah. So
wow.
well, not quite. It's been an hour and 15 minutes, but it's still been a bunch.
Well, by the time we finish, it's going to be 2:45. So whatever. But I ran out of gin a while ago, so that probably was.
You can always have a moment to fill back up and then continue on.
Do you guys have any last? Do I have any last questions? I can't think of any. Sarah, are there any last questions? Did I miss anything?
That's all the ones that you and I talked about, but I'm sure we can come up with more.
I mean, of course we can.
When are we going to Disneyland?
Oh my God.
No, but really.
Lives by Disney. Oh, Rosie lives by Disney. Damn it.
It's okay. You have to drink now. I do live by Disney.
Okay.
I live about 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I've never been to Disneyland.
Taking Saxa.
My kids are about to fire me.
Oh, they can't come if we're going. FYI.
No.
If the guys are going, they can't come.
They're all teenagers. They can go by themselves.
That's
I'll get them close enough.
Because I do Disneyland very differently than a lot of other people. Like I know, Rosie, you and I have talked about how we do Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very leisurely. And a lot of food.
There
you go.
So much food. I hope so. Disneyland had this like food and wine festival going on in the middle of this, or just before COVID happened, and I really hope that they just like restart it, because oh my God, it was so fun. Because the way they set it up now is that they just have like carts of different like gourmet food and you get these like little oh my God, it's so cool. It's so exciting. We will definitely have to go again.
I've been missing out.
We will definitely have to go again.
Yeah. I think you are correct.
People are knocking on Sarah's door. Thank you so much for coming on. She just
ran away.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. I was so honored when you asked me. I was so honored. Like I was
good.
Like,
I was so excited
to do something.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited, and your art is beautiful, and I love that you share it online with everybody. It makes me so happy because I can't do art, at least not like that. And it's just, I appreciate it so much. I'm all about it. And you know what? I might even ask you to send me some pieces of art that I can like tack onto this video somewhere, because that's my new thing.
This can be arranged.
It
can be arranged.
Saskatchewan though, like 2 weeks.
That's okay.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, the mail system, not fast. I live far away.
Totally fine. I used to mail to Canada all the time. I totally get it. But yes, I'm going to end with big news. And Saxa, you get to be part of this big news because you're here. But mostly, I wanted to tell Sarah, I have commissioned a podcasting table. And one of my former guests, one of my past guests, Baron Bjorn Zenfir out of Danor in Kaid, is going to build me a table. Preferably, for those of you who don't know, my laptop drank coffee a little while ago, and I had to buy a new one.
Oh, ouch.
So I messaged Bjorn, and I was like, hey, do you make tables? Because I know you do all this really cool wood stuff. Could you make me a table? He's like, I mean, I've made a couple of tables. It could be a fun new challenge. And I'm like, yes, here's what I need it to be. I need it to be able to have a 50-pound dog accidentally barrel themselves into it and it not fall over. He's like, okay, is there anything else that you want to do with it? And I'm like, I just really need it to not get knocked. Like, I need it to be stable. That's what I need. And so I'm really excited to see what happens and what he makes. We're getting the first test of like the varnish on the wood on Monday. I'm very excited. I'm so excited.
Nice. One of my favorite things in the world is to tell artists, like if they're making something, I first of all, I love to give them money.
Oh yeah.
because you give them money and then they give you beautiful things, and it's my favorite trade in the whole world. But they're always, okay, well, what do you want? And I was like, please make me something beautiful. I'm not fussy and I love beautiful things.
Oh my God.
And so this is how I function. It's how I got this cornet. Joanna's like, what do you want? And I'm like, I want it to be delicate and beautiful and pretty, and that's love. And it was everything
amazing.
I asked for.
And
I said, make me something that you love.
Oh my God, get out of my head. I swear to God, I don't know if you can read it, but like this message right here literally says, I want you to make me something that you would like.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because
That's
when you let them do something, because I'm not terribly artistic. I follow patterns. Like when I make my weaving, I just follow patterns and I make the pattern, like I make the weaving look like the pattern says. I'm not very artistic. I can't carry images in my head. Like,
oh no, me neither.
I guess people think in pictures. And yeah, so, and I'm like, I can't, you know, and they'll be like describing something to me and I'm like, I got nothing. Is it beautiful? Is it pretty? Yeah. Okay, good. Do that.
Yes!
And then tell me how much I owe you.
That's exactly
and that's my favorite thing. And if you let them be creative, it's always better. It's always better.
Yeah. And I'm like sitting here, I'm just like, I know nothing about woodworking or furniture making or anything like this. So like, I don't want to like give you a budget and undersell you for your value. So I'm just going to like say, this is my number. Can you like work in this number? And he was just like, oh my God, someone gave me a budget. That's amazing. And I'm like, oh, cool. So that's good. I'm so awkward. I just want pretty things in my life.
Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same. And I would do it with scrolls when, oh, go ahead, Sarah.
No, scrolls. Talk about scrolls.
Oh, I would do it with scrolls all the time. My scribes, I had several amazing scribes that were just absolutely fantastic, but I would just sort of give them, you know, a general idea on what I was sort of thinking. And I did a whole, Duchess Inga, I was like, can you give me something a little Roman / Henry V? And she did it. Like she's like, how does this look? And I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what we needed. But I love just letting artists be artists and just let their creativity go. I think it's amazing. And that's the thing, is I just love beautiful things. So yeah, it's very hard to make me not happy with it because I just love things.
I do too. My Viscounty cornet, which I love, is like still sitting under my bed because nobody can see it. And I'm like, it was custom, but like based on like two different things that he like Kathan did it, and he's on tier. Like he kind of melded together two things and it turned out to be like the most amazing thing on planet Earth. And I'm just so sad.
Yeah. This one too. This was actually delivered to me while I was in Drachenwald, because Joanna, who made it, lives in Drachenwald, and she got it delivered to Drachenwald Crown. And so there was a bunch of people when it was handed to me, and I opened it up and I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Makes you want to wear it.
I love it.
Rosie, what are you pulling out?
Yeah, I have so many scrolls right now. So this one is, I think this is Brandon's, which one is this one? Oh, this is Brandon's first ever fighting award. And so this is his scroll for that. It was done, the illumination was done by Agatha? I don't know, I can't read. And the calligraphy was done by Marin Shajrabar. Oh my gosh, very Irish name. I'm not going to pretend to pronounce it. But the big thing that I wanted to show you. So our current princess, her name is Catherine of Hornchurch. And she, before she won crown, painted this for me.
Wow.
Oh.
And so I'm going to like see if I can get really close. But this is a picture of me. So I have been in the SA for 25 years. This was, I think it was I was 6 months or no, this would have been a Halloween. So I would have been 11 months in this picture. And she recreated that for me. This one is my tattoo.
Oh, it is too.
So she matched my tattoo. This is, I hate wearing shoes, but I'm allergic to bees, so I have to wear shoes when I'm outside. And I'm a protege, so this is for me being a protege. And then this is my other tattoo.
Nice.
And I love it because it's so unique. And when she messaged me about being assigned this, because I think that's how it goes in Kaid, she was just like, is there anything that you want? Is there a preference? And I'm like, nope, do something that makes you happy. Do something that you'll have fun with. And this is what she came up with. And then like, there's my device, and she has like little purple roses painted throughout all of it. I have a purple rose tattooed on me. It was so great. That's my most beautiful squirrel. My friend Brienne has his AOA scroll over up on our wall that has like dragons all over it, but I have to go over there and get it. What were you gonna say, Saxa?
Scribes are amazing. Like scribes are absolutely incredible, and they do such. I mean, there's lots of amazing artisans in the SCA, but the scribal work, especially since I wanted to draw when I was a child. I wanted to draw so badly. I had big dreams of being an artist, and my dad actually made me an easel, and I drew and drew and drew, and I painted, and I took art classes, and I can't remember things, right? Like I can't picture things. So to make a picture come out of my brain when there's no picture in there, I can't do it. I can do geometric things, but that's about it. And so to see the scribal work and such beautiful things that they come up with, and especially for my own reign, I was just flabbergasted. They were amazing. The talented people.
We have some scribes that do some, I want to say blanks, because sometimes you never know. You have to have a couple spare like AOA scrolls, because sometimes it can just happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then so you have the scribes that do that, and then there's the scribes that go back and fill it in and try and match everything. They're miracle workers.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible.
Yes. Yeah, super talented.
Mm-hmm.
And I had so many of them that worked during my reign, and just absolutely phenomenal.
So it's really funny that, Sarah, you mentioned blanks. When Wilhelm and Sita were king and queen, we started to do that because Wilhelm is notorious for being like, I'm going to give you an award right now. So we would be like in the middle of the day and have already planned the awards, and then he would decide to give more at the end. And after doing 4 of those without having scrolls or the award medallions, we decided that we were always going to have extras. So we had somebody create blanks as well for each of our awards. And we would always have extras on us at any time, whoever the chief lady was for the day. I made sure that extra event award things were there, but like this was a like a pre-filled out one. So it's literally like somebody put in all their efforts to draw this for every gauntlet. And then like and it's just like, he did so good. And then they left room in the top for like to fill in the name and the date. And oh man, it's just, everything about it is so cool. But also, like, I heard you like Roman stuff, Saxa. So this is Grecian.
I do.
This is my
it's
Grecian,
amazing.
my Grecian king, whom I love. Wilhelm and Sita are like my favorite humans on the planet. I keep talking about them on my show, that I've joked with a couple of people to rename it Rosie Speaks Mostly About Wilhelm and Sita every time. I love them. They are my favorite humans.
And a side note of Larissa, like an undertone of Larissa.
Yeah, with a side note of Larissa, like with Larissa flavoring on top.
It's perfect.
I do talk about her a lot too. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I said goodbye 25 minutes ago.
I told you. I called it.
You really, really did. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for coming on with me, Saxa. I love that Sarah just video bombed us. It's my literal favorite thing ever.
I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Me
I was wondering
either.
if there would be any surprises, and it was the best surprise ever. So
perfect. That makes me so happy to hear. I love it. Thank you so much, ladies, and thank you everybody for watching. I hope that you guys are doing great and having, as fun time as you can and finding your magic. That's my new thing. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thanks for having me.